Hey y'all, Christy here. It is Tuesday, February 28th, 2023. It's been a while since my last post. I've actually taken some time to do some inner work and self-healing. And so that work kind of required me to just check out and not really share what I was going through. More about being present in the moment and working on myself spiritually and physically and mentally. And so and also working through getting off of my Cymbalta. It was a rough 6 to 8 weeks. I'm not even sure if I'm what week I'm on. It was really rough in the beginning. It wasn't as bad. It was more of physical withdrawals and feeling sick to my stomach, and like it was more on my body. And then after I made it past that stage, it became more mental, and it kind of pushed me into, I guess, like a depression for a little while. And so I had to really take time for myself to experience those emotions and go through those peaks and those valleys. And it wasn't easy at all. There were times I didn't want to get out of bed. I kind of felt like I was in a fog. My body felt good, but I just felt bad. I don't really know how to explain it unless you've kind of went through a battle of depression, which I hadn't really before because I'd been on medication for so long that, like I said, it kind of numbed my feelings. So I hadn't really experienced those kind of emotions in a long time. And so I just had to be present and aware of them and actually acknowledge them and go through them in order to proceed forward. And it wasn't easy. There were times that I just would cry for no reason. I felt alone yet surrounded by people. It's so hard to explain that feeling so lost and so alone, yet you're surrounded by people. I almost felt like I was standing still and the world was just revolving around me. I was there, but I wasn't there. And, that went on for quite a while, and I almost thought about getting back on my medication just because, I didn't like feeling so sad. I didn't feel like I would do anything, to myself, or like I didn't want to cease to live. It was just, I was so sad and I couldn't move past it, and I couldn't put my finger on why I was so sad because, I had nothing to be sad about. I have a great support network, but it's just feeling alone sometimes, and working the majority of my time from home and interacting, a lot through my computer, you lose that human touch, I guess, and that human interaction. And so, yes, it's one thing to get on your computer and, Zoom with other people or video chat or whatever, as opposed to actually being with people. It's two different worlds. And that's probably one of the things I miss most about actually having left, my previous, position at the daycare, is that interaction, that daily interaction with people. It's something that you don't realize it's a necessity until you stray away from it, and through that depression, I kind of isolated myself. And when you're desperately looking for that human contact, but then you're depressed, it kind of just makes it even worse. Like you want to be around people, but yet you don't want to be around people. And you don't want them to see the sadness. And, it's still, I'm still not quite past it, but I'm able to get moving, and I'm able to get out of bed, and I'm able to not let it consume so much of my thought. But I do get sad every now and then. Like I said, I do miss those interactions. I don't know how to get them back, I guess. It's kind of like when you pull yourself away, when you go into this like depression or seclusion or withdrawal, that it's hard for you to reintegrate yourself. And where do you start? Because you kind of cut off all relationships. You kind of just isolated yourself, that you don't know where to start reaching out first. And like I said, I have my interactions all the time on Zoom and, Skype and video chats and, Messenger. But it's the one-on-one with another human being other than, my family, my spouse. It's my friendships that I've isolated. And it's hard to reach out and tell those people, hey, I'm sorry, I just fell off the face of the earth. I was going through some things, and, hi, I'm back. People kind of get tired of that, and it's hard to reach back out when you cut off so many times. I didn't realize how much of a person that I was, that I would, recluse myself, kind of just shut the world out when things were going rough, and kind of stick to myself and work through it. And, on this journey, that's one thing that I've realized is one of my main weaknesses. It's something that I always have to work on, is that when things start becoming too much, or I'm feeling lost, or I'm sad, is that I cut everything off and just kind of disappear until I make it to the other side, if you will. And so, that's been one thing that I've been trying to work on. And, I kind of lost that when I fell in that little bout of depression. It was, I didn't want anyone to see me that way, because I've been doing so well. And, I was making so much progress on becoming this better version of myself, that I didn't want the sympathy, I guess, or the empathy, or I just wanted to process it on my own and, eventually learn how to handle it. And, it wasn't easy, but I did it. And, I'm stronger for it. But like I said, I still miss that human connection, interacting with my friends, seeing them on a daily basis, or just hanging out and laughing. And, I just kind of don't really know where to get that back. I've joined some groups, but like I said, it's all virtual. I did do some Reiki training. I did a Reiki level 1 and a Reiki level 2, and I met some really great women, and I've interacted with them, and we keep in touch, and we see each other every now and then, and we practice Reiki on each other. We've only done like 2 sessions, but I'm looking forward to working with that group even more. So I have done some things like that, and I started considering promoting some of the stuff that I actually use. I hoping that it'll maybe get me involved with networking with other women, that are entrepreneurs and that maybe work from home and work from their computers, because it's a different world. And so, I figured I'm using these products. I've used them for years. I might as well just start promoting them, because I do love them. And one of them, of course, is the Nu Skin. I just started that one, and I'm thinking about promoting, my protein powder that I use, which is Lady Boss, and the supplements that I take, which are, all natural and organic through Live Good. I may start trying to promote some of those, just to build some networks out there with other women, because I am kind of missing that connection. You know, I have a great support network, but I've kind of isolated myself from my friends. And, you know, I'm not proud of it, but I just don't know how to move back, you know, to where I was prior to falling into that depression. And, you know, that depression was facilitated with, you know, I got a cold that I couldn't shake, and then I got a stomach bug that I couldn't shake, and then I had a tiny little, you know, medical scare that, you know, kind of made me just snap out of the depression, you know, because it was like, oh my gosh, you know, you're wasting your time crying over nothing or being sad over nothing, that life's passing you by, and, you know, all it takes is a little kind of reality check with a medical issue to say, okay, time to get back on track. And, you know, luckily everything worked out. I'm grateful for that. But it was scary. It kind of scared me because, you know, you kind of think you see it around you, others that deal with things, and you're like, oh, it'll never happen to me. But then the minute you get that one little scare, you're like, okay, you know, it hits a little too close to home. And so, you know, I said enough's enough. I mean, I'm still not out of the valley yet. You know, I'm working my way up the hill. You know, I'm climbing out of the valley. And, you know, I'm okay now to admit that, and strong enough to say, you know, that's where I've been. You know, I kind of fell into a ravine, and I've been muddling my way through it. You know, I didn't stop doing the things that I've been doing, you know, my 5 critical tasks. I kind of laid low a little and took it easy, especially when I, you know, was dealing, you know, with my illnesses, and then that little minor health scare. You know, I cut back a little, but I never stopped my reading. I never stopped reflecting and journaling and, you know, working on myself. It was just a little bit harder. The depression, you know, made it a little bit more difficult to push through and, you know, kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know. But I did read some great books. You know, when you're depressed, you know, what do? You just lay around and watch TV. You know, I was working, of course. I was still working on my trainings for my certifications for my funnel building, and you know, reading my books, doing my trainings and things like that, and, you know, like I said, practicing the Reiki. But, you know, it just still, there was that heavy fog still that, you know, it was so hard to lift. And, you know, I can now see, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just still kind of going through it. If I, you know, I'm almost there. I feel so much better, but I can't honestly say I'm 100% because, you know, like I was choking up earlier just talking about it. It's, you know, I have the good days and the bad, and, you know, I choose to get up every day and put myself through those emotions. You know, I don't suppress them anymore. And, you know, some days I'm really good with them and some days I'm not, which is fine, but I keep going. You know, even though I've kind of faded away from posting, you know, my videos, I was still doing the work, just in silence. And now I'm ready to continue on, you know, and I don't know if that'll be posting every day or what I'll talk about. I don't know yet. But, you know, I'm still learning. This is a journey, you know. It's multiple sprints within a marathon. You know, I accomplish things, and then there's another. Then the finish line moves back. Then I accomplish something else, and then the finish line moves back. I never quite arrive at that ultimate finish line because it's a series of sprints within a marathon. I don't think I'll ever arrive there. It's a continual journey, you know. And that's what I want it to be. I don't ever want to stop and be complacent again. I want to always push myself and be on this journey, because it's so easy to fall backwards when you get knocked down, because I really almost did fall backwards and undo all the work that I've done and, this along up until this point. But I didn't, I'm not going to say I did not lay in bed for one day and cry or whatever, feel sorry for myself, but I moved past it. And now I'm, like I said, climbing up out of the valley. And I have no doubt I'll get there. It's just been, one of those little bumps in the road. But like I said, I still have been doing the work. I've still been doing my readings. I've, been holding true to it. I just am now starting to get back on my live hard. I'm easing my way back into it before I start the 30-day challenge again. I had to stop it twice. The first time I got a head cold and I couldn't shake it. And then this last time when I had to stop, I had that minor little medical awareness light bulb or alert that came on that kind of threw me out of it emotionally and mentally. And so I just couldn't, it was just too much for me to mentally to process what could have resulted from that, and then also continue with the challenge. So I just took myself off of it. But I've pretty much maintained most of the core tasks. But I did read some really good books while I was out in the fog. I read Relentless by Tim Glover. I don't have the book in front of me. My husband's reading it right now. And I also read Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. It's great. It's cryptic. It's not really a book. It's a series of his thoughts and ideas and philosophies. And, it's not really like a book that it's a page turner. It just makes you think. And I really liked reading it. And then I just got my book in, Winning by Tim Grover. I said Glover, sorry, Grover. He also wrote the Relentless book, and this one just came in and I started reading it. I've already read a couple chapters in it. It's amazing. And I can't even remember what other books I was reading. I read like 3 other ones while I was in this fog, but I have so many books everywhere that I don't even know where they're at. And then, like I said, I was doing my Reiki healing, and part of my journey, you find out your spiritual animal, and mine is a turtle, of course, and it fits me perfectly. If you ever want to look up or look into, your spirit animals, they say a lot about you, and mine is, of course, a turtle, which, my home is always with me, which is my shell, which is what I'm notorious for doing. Is when, I need to feel safe, I curl back into that shell, which, I know I talked about destroying my box. Well, yeah, that's my box of my emotions, but, I carry a shell around. It's like comfort to me. My home is myself. I can't necessarily destroy myself because that's where I revert to. I can destroy the box of some of the thoughts and the ideas that I used to carry around, but I can't ever really get rid of my home, which is me, So I just thought I'd hop back on and let you guys know I'm still here and I'm still working on myself. And, I am pushing forward every day, even if you don't hear or see me, I'm doing it silently and putting in the work. And, I'm making progress one step at a time and running multiple sprints within this marathon of personal excellence, this journey. And, all I can do is take it one day at a time and keep pushing forward, and know that it's okay that, I fell and I slipped and I was depressed for a little while. But, I'm happy to say, what I was going through, I've been through it now. I'm on the other side of it, and I just have to keep moving forward. And, I'm glad to say I didn't revert back to taking my medication, and I've been completely off of it. And, it's on to bigger and better things. And, just trying to rediscover, my happiness, what makes me happy and what brings me joy, because I know what those are professionally. It's personally now that I need to explore, because professionally I am happy, and I know exactly where I'm headed, but personally is where I'm still kind of searching, for that ultimate happy. And it'll be interesting to see where that leads me. What actually ignites, besides my family, of course. That will always be my happiness and my joy. But what else? There's always more. So I just thought I'd hop on and say hi to you guys, and maybe I'll post tomorrow. Who knows? But I'm still putting in the work. I'm living my motto: delete regrets, hit reset, and unleash your new mindset. That's what I'm doing every day, and what I've been doing, whether I posted about it or not. So just know, like what I've said, you guys are important and you matter. I had to tell myself that I matter and that I'm important. And you hear so many things out there, that bring your spirit down, that you have to remind yourself those things, because sometimes you're the only one that can tell yourself that. So, have a great day. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Bye, y'all.